I don't want to stop. 4 words that shattered decades of Ferrari protocol. 4 words that revealed the quiet revolution happening inside the most legendary team in Formula One. Everyone thought Lewis Hamilton came to Ferrari to win races. They had no idea he came to rewrite their soul. What happened next would expose the fundamental fault line running through Ferrari's identity and prove that sometimes the most dangerous revolutions are the ones that happen in whispers. Act 1. The setup. The year was 2024, and Lewis Hamilton had just done the unthinkable. He'd left Mercedes for Ferrari. The paddock buzzed with questions. Could the 7-time champion adapt to Italian passion? Could Ferrari handle British precision? Would the marriage of British methodology and Italian emotion create magic or chaos? For months, the narrative focused on adaptation. How would Hamilton adjust to Ferrari's infamous politics? How would he handle being the outsider in a team that breathes tradition? But here's what the cameras didn't show. Hamilton wasn't adapting to Ferrari. He was actively reshaping it. And right at the center of this quiet transformation was a man most fans had never heard of, Riccardo Adami. You see, while the media focused on Charles Leclerc's gracious welcome and Fred Vasseur's diplomatic statements, the real work was happening in data sessions, strategy meetings, and countless hours of calibration between a 7-time champion and an engineer who had survived Ferrari's darkest hours. Act 2. Rising action. Let's talk about what really happened in Austria. But first, you need to understand the context that led to those 4 explosive words. Lap 23. Hamilton's running P4 on hard compounds. The Red Bull ring is heating up, tire temperatures spiking across the field. Standard protocol says pit now. The spreadsheets demand it. The data supports it. The optimal strategy calls for it. But Hamilton's reading something different through his steering wheel. The rear isn't sliding. The lateral grip is consistent. The degradation curve he's feeling doesn't match what Ferrari's computers are predicting. My tires are okay. Can I extend? Riccardo Adami, calm as ever. Box. 20 laps. And here's where it gets fascinating. In that moment, Hamilton made a choice that revealed everything about his mission at Ferrari. He could have followed orders, taken the safe route, preserved the relationship. Instead, I don't want to stop. Now, here's what most people missed. This wasn't just a driver questioning strategy. This was a 7-time world champion, a man with over 300 race starts, challenging the very DNA of how Ferrari operates. Because for decades, Ferrari has been a team of protocol, of spreadsheets, of optimal strategy calculated in meeting rooms by engineers who've never felt tire degradation through their fingertips. They've been playing Formula One like a computer game. Optimal, predictable, safe. But championships aren't won with optimal. They're won with intuition, with feel, with the kind of split-second decision-making that separates good drivers from legends. Meanwhile, behind closed doors, something extraordinary was taking shape. While Charles Leclerc remained the emotional heart of Ferrari, the romantic, passionate face of the Scuderia, Hamilton was quietly becoming its operational brain. And Riccardo Adami? He wasn't just Hamilton's race engineer, he was the bridge between Ferrari's chaotic past and its methodical future. A survivor of the Vettel years, a witness to the Alonso frustrations, a technician who had learned to deliver clarity in chaos. What made this partnership special wasn't just their communication, it was their shared understanding that Ferrari needed rewiring from the inside out. Act 3. The climax. But here's where it gets interesting. That radio exchange in Austria wasn't really about tire strategy. It was about power. It was about control. It was Hamilton sending a signal to the engineers, to the fans, to Charles Leclerc, to Ferrari itself. If you want me here, really want me here, then trust me. You see, what Ferrari's leadership didn't understand is that they hadn't hired just another driver. They'd hired an architect, someone who doesn't just drive cars, he builds the systems that create championship-winning cars. Think about it. When Hamilton joined Mercedes in 2013, everyone questioned his judgment. The team wasn't ready. The car was unproven. But what followed was the most dominant period in Formula One history. Not by accident, by design. Hamilton transformed Mercedes from a midfield team into a championship machine by doing exactly what he was trying to do at Ferrari. building trust, establishing new protocols, creating operational excellence where chaos once reigned. And Adami understood this better than anyone. He'd survived the Vettel era, watched emotional volatility tear through the garage like wildfire, seen brilliant drivers frustrated by systemic dysfunction. But with Hamilton, he'd found something different: clarity, purpose, cold, calculated precision wrapped in championship-level instinct. Their partnership wasn't built on passion, it was built on process. While the rest of Ferrari operated on emotion and tradition, Hamilton and Adami created their own ecosystem. One where every tire temperature reading, every ERS deployment, every brake balance tweak was part of a shared language that bypassed the chaos above. In Austria, the evidence was undeniable. While the broadcast followed the McLarens disappearing into the distance and Verstappen managing damage limitation, Hamilton's side of the garage operated like a self-contained force. No theatrics, no friction, no emotional outbursts, just surgical execution. The tire strategy wasn't just about extending a stint. It was about Hamilton and Adami proving they could read the race in real time and make micro-adjustments that the central command couldn't see from their data screens. And when Hamilton finally pitted, the gap to Russell remained stable. The tire life had been managed perfectly. The strategy, while not optimal on paper, had been flawless in execution. Ferrari's old guard called it lucky. Hamilton and Adami called it Tuesday. Act 4, Resolution and Impact. Little did the paddock know, this was just the beginning. Hamilton finished P4 that day. On paper, nothing special. Another solid points finish in a season where McLaren was running away with wins and Red Bull was managing their decline. But behind the scenes, everything had changed. Because for the first time in years, Ferrari had operated with the kind of surgical precision that builds championship dynasties. And more importantly, they'd done it not through top-down mandate, but through bottom-up evolution. The emotional contrast with Leclerc was becoming impossible to ignore. While Charles still embodied the romantic Ferrari spirit, all passion and flair and emotional investment, Hamilton brought something colder but infinitely more effective: accountability and order. And the numbers don't lie. In the 4 races since Hamilton's arrival, he'd out-qualified Leclerc twice, outraced him 3 times, and crucially, made fewer errors under pressure. That consistency was building something that championship teams are built on: predictability. But here's what Ferrari's management was slowly realizing. This wasn't about replacing one driver with another. This was about Hamilton systematically rewiring Ferrari's operational DNA.